the release date of Tales of Arise was just announced as 10th of September this year. So to celebrate, I'm gonna rank all the Tales games that I have played, with starting with this one right here, because I know this is technically not Dawn of the New World, but it'll have to be the representation of, because I can't find it anywhere else. And I don't like that game at all. I don't even want to talk about it, it's that bad, so I'm just putting it there to start with. I'm gonna save talking about Berseria for a bit, so bear with me with that for a moment. Tales of Krystoria, you probably haven't played because it's for iOS. It's just another... What are those games called? Pay to win. You get a bunch of rolls and you hope you get your characters. It's not a Tales game. It's not how they're supposed to work. Overall, not good. Same could be said here, honestly. I did actually play Tales of Link for a bit, because it was a Tales game. And I know that the Tales game don't really have much of a market outside of Japan. So I did it just desperately trying to keep the series alive somehow, but since I didn't spend money on it, it got shut down, and now we have Krystoria in its place. Tales of Destiny, I have played a little bit of the PlayStation version. No, that's Destiny 2. Never mind. Well, same thing with that. I've never touched Destiny 2. Destiny 1 I played a little bit, but I got bored of it immediately, but I was in the wrong mood. You need to dedicate a lot of time to these games, which I didn't have at that time. I just wanted to try it out, see how it looked. At least it looked better than Symphonia for SNES, which we'll get to. Technically Famicom. What the hell is this? Oh, this is Destiny. I haven't played this. That's one of the reasons why I don't think I'm fit to talk about this, because I haven't played the majority of them. Like this one. Never played. Now this one, I think it's good. Certainly no masterpiece. It has problems, but I like the main cast, most of them. Even as Aspel is one of the most boring protagonists in this entire franchise. I think he worked off some of the characters pretty well. I liked his interactions with Xillia, which I know a lot of people dislike, but I don't mind her. Pascal is a goddamn gem. I think it uses a similar battle system to Destiny 2, which I haven't played, so I can't really talk about it. But it was nice, but overall not the best in the series, I think. Sorry, I was just checking my phone real quick. Thought I did vibrate for a moment. I do my things live. Let's see, what's this? This is Tales of... Well, it's Vita, so I haven't played it. I don't know what that is. Same with this one. Same here. I have not played these. These are just completely unranked. I just put them here. This is a bit interesting to rate, because this game has a lot of different versions of it, but I've only played the Famicom version, or the one for SNES version. It has been ported to a lot of consoles, but the ones I can think of on top of my head is PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. I think PlayStation Portable too, but I don't think that's light outside of Japan. I think for its time it had really great graphics and fantastic music. Which is the thing that holds up the best by far. But it's extremely frustrating to play. It has basically no combo system, of course, because it's a very primitive action RPG. But Star Ocean did that a bit better, because all you do in that game is mash A. Here, the combat is really slow. You get stun locked so easily. Not just by what I mean with that is enemies can do damage to you, and sometimes out of the blue they'll stun you, and you'll just be gone for 3 seconds for them to do whatever they want. I don't like the spell freeze, which is when a character casts a spell, the entire screen freezes for a moment, which gets annoying because you need Arch to spam spells in the background. But every time she does, the game pauses and shows you the entire goddamn animation, and you can't skip it or short it down. The encounter rate is ridiculously high. There is a handy dash function, but it only makes you encounter things faster, even with holy bottles. If I remember correctly, it just decreases the encounter rate a bit and doesn't prevent them completely. But that game drove me insane. And the last boss I remember was a lot of bullshit too. But it was very ambitious for its time, so I can't really put it in bad. It is a product of its time, as I have hinted at. But hasn't stood the test of time, of course. I said time like 5 times in a row there, or 3 at the very least. If you want, just want to go back to the past a bit for a game that never truly saw the light of day outside of Japan, and just out of curiosity, check it out. But I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who just wants to play a good RPG, and just play Chrono Trigger. It's from around the same time, and it's a lot better. Now, what could this be? Tales of Rebirth. Never touched. Now, Symphonia, I would love to put it here. But honestly, God. Sure, it was the first Tales game that I played front to back. At the time, it was really good. But today, it's just unskippable cutscenes. Some of the graphics are good today, like the light effects from spells like Holy Lands, for example. But the art style, it's kind of chibi, but also not. It just looks very off. The story is actually pretty good, though. It threw me for a loop at least 2 times. I did not expect that at all. The characters are fun and enjoyable. The voice acting could be better. The system has aged a lot. It's one of those where you attack like 3 times and then you do 3 arts and that's it. Now, there is that glitch where the spell glitch where you can basically cancel anything and keep combos going forever, but that wasn't really intended to be there. All these games have really bad dungeon design in common too. I can't think of a single dungeon in these games that I was really thrilled with. So unfortunately, I don't know. It's here or there. I want to give respect to the classics, but this just isn't that great anymore. I hate to admit it. Don't get me wrong, I really like this game. Or liked. Emphasis. But god damn it, you're so old. What do I put? It's certainly not for today's audience. I should probably have a remaster. But I'll put it in meh. I really hate admitting it, but sadly. Now this game is pretty damn good. It's almost awesome. What I don't like about it is the system is exploitable, blah 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 tidal wave. But if you don't use that, then it's actually pretty boring. The attacks are really sluggish. The game in general feels really slow, honestly, especially characters like Judith. She's super floaty. But she takes forever to her, like when she lands, it takes a long time for her to be able to do something. They're just small things like that. After you finish attacking, it takes like at least a second before you can do any other action, such as guarding. If you want, you can do a bunch of fancy combos with, because you can chain arts a bit better, but it takes a long time for that to happen. You need to equip a bunch of skills, which you get from weapons. It's very grindy too. For example, you can get what's called altered arts by equipping a certain skill and then using an art, and then you need to use that art 50 times if it's a spell, 100 if it's not. Why would you want someone to use something 100 goddamn times? Why not just give me the art or not have them? Because honestly, most altered arts are a waste of time. What else? The skill system was in itself was pretty good, but it's only good, really good, once you go to New Game Plus and you can buy the set all skill costs to 1, because otherwise you have to micromanage them a lot, and I don't think even by the late game you will have all the skills you need. I'm trying to think what else. The cast was pretty good, not fantastic. I dig Yuri mostly. I like Judith, Estelle. Vita was alright, Pat is alright, Carol. Repeat is just a goddamn dog. Raven's fun. Flynn is boring. Those are what I can think of right now. The biggest downfall, which is why I'm not putting it in awesome though, is that if you want to get most of the quests and all the late game stuff, you have to use a walkthrough because so much stuff is missable. It's actually worse than Dark Souls 1. You have to trigger certain events at very specific times, otherwise they're gone forever. And there's a lot of them. I really don't like that in games. Yeah, you can call me a scrub. Oh, why don't you just go explore more and talk to every character at every single goddamn opportunity? Because I don't want to have to backtrack all the goddamn time just to check, oh, I need to see if there's a quest there or a missable item or whatever. One word, Bryonak. If you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. Good luck finding that without a goddamn walkthrough. You're probably not gonna succeed. But it's good, borderline awesome. A lot of people consider it's one of the best in the entire franchise. I can see why, but I'm personally not too keen on it. Oh, and of course, it was also during that transitory period where it's not quite somewhat realistic yet, but still cartoonish. You know, the character models are a bit off. A little of Tales of Symphonia, but they haven't transitioned to stuff like Xillia yet. Speaking of, Xillia 1 is... I don't think it's great by any means. The level up system was very boring. I don't remember much of it, honestly. Characters were alright, fairly flat. That is until Tales of Xillia 2 came around. Now I know, Ludger is Gary Stu. But goddamn is he a fun one. I like his interactions, if you can call it that, with the cast. And most importantly, I like that they made him a mostly silent protagonist. He's supposed to be a insert for the player. And I think for a sequel to a game like that, it worked surprisingly okay. People have seemed to have this fetish with, if we're making a direct sequel to something, we can't focus on the same characters anymore. Like this goddamn monstrosity. But in this case, they have a character whose entire thing is that he can't really talk or do much on his own, so he has to interact with other characters. So she's mostly getting their stories told through him, which is okay, but probably should have focused on him. But to be honest, both Jude and Milda in the first game were so boring and bland that I deliberately have one that's just letting me be a gateway to see all these characters again. It has a 2-year time skip and the characters have developed pretty nicely, I must say. I'm glad with how most of them turned out. I liked how Leia's starting to focus more on her journalism instead of being a goddamn... It's not like I like you, Jude. She's more of a 3-dimensional character. I also like her cap. I also like Alvin, how he's trying to go a bit more legit. It has a lot of good parts about it. What I don't like is the depth system, which a lot of people have complained about. I'm no different, like how you need to pay money constantly and micromanage your inventory. It's really dumb. Should not have been there. I'm trying to think what else. I like the battle system, which is basically this game but more fleshed out. It has a better level up system. What I remember of it doesn't cap at 99, it goes to 200, like how it should be. The skill system could have been better. I don't like how you only get LP, which is the point you use to learn skills with, via titles, so you need to grind for them. I think you could also get them by mastering the skills. You could get half the cost as direct points that you can use to spend on getting other skills with. It didn't work that well. And there was no SP cost 1 New Game Plus thing. What else? Power Rangers are cool, I guess. If you play the game, you know what I mean. Yeah, it has problems to be sure, but I had too much fun with that game to really disregard it. Every time I think about it, I think, wow, this is such a good game, and I had such a good time with it. But now that I'm actually here and I'm trying to think of what to say about it, I can't remember all of it, probably because there's a lot of it. Final Dungeon was ass. I didn't like Ivor or most of the antagonists, though. I like that they redeemed the antagonist from the first game. I remember at the end of the final fight in Xillia 1, I was like, just please kill the villains already. But here they come back as party members, and I'm like, wow, these are pretty good characters now. Maybe not Muse, like she's not super deep or anything like that, but Gaius turns out to be a pretty cool king. Down-to-earth guy and a good monarch as well. Almost makes you forget about the first game. Yeah, you can just do that. Just skip the first one, go directly to Xillia 2. I know most people prefer Xillia, and yes, that is how you're supposed to pronounce it, not Xillia or something. But I prefer the second one, by far, because it fixes a lot of stuff with the first one. But it reuses a lot of the models and stuff from the first game. Well, obviously they were developed together. It's just like a... Oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I need to say no to that. But it's basically the first game again. Yeah, but it's better this time. So I prefer it. Now these two games I don't have that much to say about. This one it's terrible. I don't like it at all. Boring characters. Not a very engaging plot. Really bad battle system. Not interesting at all. Hard skip. This is good though. Not there. It's somewhere here. Probably. I'm not entirely sure. Probably here. Seems about right. Fun characters. What else? Somewhat simplistic system, but for its time, it's like, you know what, fine. It introduced the free run button, which is very necessary. An okay story. I'm not the biggest fan of Luke, though. I like how he interacts with most cast after he cuts his hair. Jade the Necromancer is one of the best characters in the entire franchise. I like Natalia. I don't remember that much from it, but I remember having a good time overall. I think I've been a bit too hard on it in the past. Thinking back, I think it's just because I was spoiled by most of these games, but if I try to look at it from how it was at the time, it was pretty good. But the 3DS port has a lot of frame rate issues, which is the only one I played. Not perfect, like it's almost meh now that I think about it, because I can't remember the plot for the life of me. And some of the acting is kind of hokey. But all in all, I'd say this was good. I might put this in at some point, but this one is by far my favorite. The more I think about it, the better it becomes. First and foremost, Awesome battle system. You have 4 combos set to the 4 buttons that you can customize however you want, which makes it sound very OP, but to really get the most of it, you need to look at all the arts have a... Some do extra damage to demi-humans, some do extra damage to birds or whatever they were called. So you need to remember this art is good against this kind of thing, so if you use it against that enemy, then you'll decrease their defense and increase damage for the rest of the combo. So you can keep comboing them, do a whole bunch of extra damage. It's just so fun. Sure, it's a bottom masher, but that's what most of these games kind of are anyway. You can get through most of them by using 1 or 2 wards and mashing the attack button. Except on higher difficulties, of course. I really liked Velvet as a character. I have come to really like flawed characters. And she's definitely that. I think her voice actors did an amazing job portraying her. One of the best voice performances I've ever heard. She deserves all the credit for that. I'm trying to remember her name. She also did the voice for Shantae, amongst other things. Oh, I'm so ashamed. I can't remember right now. I'm so sorry, but you're awesome. Whatever your name is, I'm so sorry for forgetting, but I love you so much. Thank you for your hard work you put in this game. God, it really showed. Every scene where she cries is just... oh, so good. The villain was kind of lame, and by that I mean Innominat, not Artorias. He's okay. A lot of these games, a lot of problems, all of them, of course, but this one is no different. But in the end, if I'm enjoying the product and am I having fun with it, I can excuse almost anything. That doesn't mean I'm gonna look past the flaws and ignore them, but it means that ultimately I'm having more fun with the thing that I am pissed at nitpicking it. There's a lot of problems with this, as I said. I'm gonna think of one major one. We have why didn't an Artorias just tell Velvet why he killed her brother in the first place? That's not a spoiler, it's in the first few minutes of the game. It's the basic setup for the game. Why didn't her brother tell, hey, I'm gonna willingly sacrifice my life for this? Like, sure, she wouldn't allow it and she wouldn't have been happy, but they don't even try. These are, of course, the only main line games, sort of, I guess. Christoria and Link counts. They don't count spin-offs and stuff. The exact order of these will change depending on my mood, but this is how I'm feeling right now. Berseria, I dare say, is a modern, overlooked classic or masterpiece. Not perfect, I'm not saying that, but holy shit is it good. You should play it. Will Tales of Arise be any good? Only, I guess we'll have to see and find out. I hope I get to put it in awesome one day. I really don't want to be let down by that game. If I am, then I'm gonna go back to this video and have a laugh at it. And if it's not, then no need to do that. I know I'm not the expert of this series, because look at how many games I haven't played. But I just wanted to get my thoughts out there and celebrate the fact that Tales of Arise is coming. I think, yeah, God, I just look forward to that game. I don't want to talk about it too much in case I get disappointed. But thank you all so much for watching this ranking. I'll see you next time.